Migrants who have already been sent to Guantanamo Bay by the Trump administration, just pause there about how crazy that sentence is, but it's true, it's happened, are now alleging that the guards there are abusive, they're withholding water, and they've restrained people in what they call the punishment chair. And all of that is gross and not at all surprising. It is, after all, Guantanamo Bay. You do not send people accused of shoplifting to Guantanamo Bay because of the cushy conditions there. You send them there so they can be abused and in fact tortured, and maybe people won't find out about it because it's kind of far away. But thanks to the ACLU signing on to this lawsuit, we are finding out about it. And so they've launched this lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security, Secretary Kristi Noem, and ICE officials as well. And in the suit, they say plaintiffs do not challenge the government's authority to detain them on US soil or to directly remove them to their home country or another statutorily authorized country. What they challenge is the government's unprecedented and unlawful decision to transfer and detain them at Guantanamo, which under the Immigration and Nationality Act is Cuba. That is per se illegal, even apart from the horrific detention conditions and the lack of meaningful access to counsel or the outside world, which we already know is true. Not just for the people being sent to Guantanamo, those who are just being black bagged off of American city streets and then sent to El Salvador or whatever are also not getting counsel. Their family members aren't finding out until they're already in another country. So all of this is reprehensible and yes, in fact, illegal, but it also includes those who've been sent to Guantanamo. And they talk about some of the conditions there. They say people are subject to invasive strip searches upon leaving or entering their cells. Those who spoke out about their conditions or treatment are tied to a chair for hours. Detainees report how guards withheld water as punishment, and one officer slammed a radio against a detainee's hand, fracturing it. One individual was reportedly beaten up so badly that he tried to harm himself twice in 2 weeks. And we've previously talked about reports that there's been people who've attempted to end their own lives there because of the horrendous conditions. And I understand that there's gonna be some people who are gonna hear this, or more likely not hear this because they literally won't even click a video about the conditions there. They care so little about what's happening there. That'll be like, okay, going all casino on someone's hand is bad, but these are the worst of the worst. These are hardened criminals, rapists and murderers, cannibals. Nope. Again, no, that was never gonna be true and it has not been true ever since. These are people who committed the civil violation of being within the borders of the United States without the proper documentation. Some of them have a tattoo that people think they interpret it as them being part of a gang or whatever, and the family members of those people say that that's not actually true. But regardless, they weren't picked up because they just killed someone. They weren't playing soccer with human skulls or whatever. They just violated that civil regulation, that requirement that you have your paperwork, and they've been shipped off to Guantanamo. They're being strip searched. They're having solitary confinement. They're having their hands broken. Some of them are trying to end their lives. Do not try to convince yourself that in any way this is morally allowable, that this should be acceptable in any way. It's both illegal and also deeply immoral. And so initially they didn't even have access to attorneys or their family, the outside world. Thankfully, in some cases they have, and a district judge has now stepped in to order the government to respond to this lawsuit no later than March 10th. They're gonna have a hearing about it on March 14th. So all that is coming up within the next month, within the next week, I should say, which is good news. And so, I don't want to be right. Like, I would love to have a long period where it's just like, man, John hasn't gotten one of these predictions right. It's been months. That dude doesn't know what he's talking about. But and we have to acknowledge that the predictions that I'm getting right are not difficult. The idea that concentration camps in Guantanamo Bay are gonna be the site of torture is not the hardest thing to guess, but I don't want to keep being right about these absolutely horrendous things. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.